Thank you very much for the chance to be here. It's been an honor to be part of the faculty for the last 50 years. Actually, when you're an adjunct, you escape a lot of things like going to faculty meetings. And I don't know whether that's a blessing or not. But anyway, congratulations, Ken and Sarah, on your retirement. And Ken tells me he's heading off to Western Washington, and I know that'll be a great place to retire. Now, when you get to be old, one thing about it is you have a lot of history. And among other things that I have some history on is this law school. I remember one day Bill Bowen, by the way, our firm name was Smith, Williams, Friday, and Bowen when I went to work for it. And Bill Bowen was my mentor, and of course later became your dean. He called me in his office and he said, well, Ralph Barnhart, the law school dean in Fayetteville, has asked me to teach a class on accounting for lawyers. And he says, you're the CPA, I'm not, so you're going to teach it. And you didn't argue with Bowen. So in 1968, I went down and walked up the fire escape back in the alley at what is known as the Gay Building, but then it was really Everett's Glass Shop that was identified by. Ruth Brunson had the library at the top of the fire escape, so I had to walk through her library to get to my classroom. And I would oftentimes run into Art Murphy. I think Art and I may be the only two still around that they were there in the early days. And Art's been a tremendous friend over the years. Fenton Adams was the acting dean or the associate dean, I guess, in charge of the Lowry School until Bob Walsh later came along to be the first full-fledged dean. But I have had the honor and the pleasure of working through a number of deans over the years, Chuck and John, and the almost dean, Terry. There have been some really outstanding folks as the law school has progressed and grown immensely. One of the interesting things was when Bill Bowen sold his stock in what was First Commercial Bank, and Regions had taken over. The stock was $44 a share the day that the transaction was completed, never to be that high again. But he was still trying to figure out, what am I going to do with all this stock I've got? And I said, well, Bill, you could give some to the law school. So he began a negotiating session to see what it would cost in shares of Region stock to have the law school named after him. And he was a tough negotiator, and I don't know who was negotiating on behalf of the school, but it really worked out quite well. And after he got that, he said, well, you talked me into something, you've got to do something to make up for that. And that's when I had a chance to do the professorship that Phil has certainly honored, as he has been the professor of taxation. The first class that I had, as I mentioned, was accounting for lawyers. And I tell you, most of the people in the class would not have been taking it except it was a required course. It hadn't been offered since I think the first or second year. But in any event, one of the students who was in that very first class is Buddy Raines, who's sitting over here to my right, and Buddy was honored me by being here tonight. Hoyt Thomas, who practiced law up in Heber Springs for a number of years, wanted to come, but neither he nor his wife drive after dark, and he thought that would he might be pushing his luck. But in any event, there were some great folks in that class, but as I look around the room, many of whom are my law partners that have honored me by being here, including our managing partner, Chef Russell, and many of you I had in class. And one thing about teaching some tax classes is that you get to figure out who the really top students are and then decide whether you want to try to hire them or not. And I tell you, we have had some fantastic hires, from among those who were in school here. And I'm looking at them as they stand back here, and Katie's hiding over here in the corner. Katie Watson Bingham, having been married now for about 3 weeks, and her husband David are over here. And Katie, I've known since she was born, and it's a treat to know someone all her life, see them grow up, do extraordinarily well, do quite well in law school and in the LLM program in Florida, and in the almost 6 years that she's been with the firm, she's just set all kinds of records. But the same is true of a lot of the others. And my wife Carol, I had a 7 o'clock class at night for many years. And I can tell you, at 6 o'clock, after having gone, I usually was at work by 7:30. 6 o'clock, I say, now why is it I'm doing this? But I tell you, when I left the law school, I knew why I did it. It was extraordinarily fulfilling, and I think that has really been the key to staying with it for such a long period of time. It was a wonderful challenge, and it just was a real treat and a real opportunity. Also, my assistant for many years, Pam Duran, is here, and she's been a real help. And she was going to write my speech for me, but I told her I'd just try to do the best I could on my own. The law school has so much to offer, and we just need to continue supporting it, doing all that we can to cause it to continue to be great. And it has reached some significant heights, and it's got a ways to go. And Terry, you're gonna take it up some notches, I'm sure. Thank you very much.